Hi, this is Maria Piegler from socialmediaonlineclasses.com, and in this brief video, I am going to show you how you can go beyond setting a social media strategy and really focus on your execution, because it's in the actual doing of your social media plan or any kind of a goal that we have that we usually end up breaking down and getting some difficulty in executing our goals. And this is a series of blog posts that I did that are some of our most popular blog posts because it creates an action plan for your social media goals. And it's a series of 3 blog posts that I will link to in below the video. The first is to set your social media goals, because we find here at socialmediaonlineclasses.com a lot of people really don't take the time to do that. They don't take the time to tie their social media efforts to a business goal. And I talk about in this blog post one of our highest, most successful revenue producing clients. She is the #1 real estate agent in the state of Georgia. And she said, I really don't know what social media can do for me. And so what I recommended was to tie it to your business goals. If you have certain revenue goals, if you have new products coming out, tie your social media marketing to those goals and create SMART goals. A SMART goal is specific, it's measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. And so here's an example of SMART goals in action turned into a social media action plan. This is the second blog post in this 3-part series. And I used one of our actual clients here who is an author, and she had a new book coming out. And she really wanted to promote this book because she wanted a future with her publisher. She needed to sell a good number of books. And so what I recommended was to create a Pinterest campaign to sell 1,000 books. And we were very specific in her social media goals. And so we created an action plan. And what this was her SMART goals broken down by time. So her book was coming out in December, and so she wanted to really start promoting it in January. So she knew that she needed to get her cover art from the publisher, get an Amazon link to buy the book, get the publisher link to buy the book, order copies for the giveaway. And so you can see here everything is broken down into monthly goals. And these are the steps that she needs to do, but you can even break that down further. You can break that down from monthly into weekly and daily goals. So here we took the action plan from February, which was to invite fellow authors to promote it, create some Pinterest boards, and do a contest. We broke that down into weekly and daily goals. And I can tell you, I actually do this in my business, and it works. Because when you look at a goal from a very long view, it looks overwhelming. But if you can break it down into bite-sized steps, it's very doable. And so here we've broken it down into a weekly and daily action. So here for this particular goal, it was to invite fellow authors to promote it. Well, what does that involve? Well, you've got to identify the authors, editors, and designers that you want to invite, and you've got to get their contact information and send out an invitation for them to promote it with a timetable. Because promotion, especially when you're doing a book tour, you want things to come out at the same time. So this week, for this particular week in February, our client was going to actually do the identification of the authors to invite and to create that promotion timetable. Then for the second goal of creating those Pinterest boards, she needed to identify a new Pinterest board for each day of the promotion, take photos or get permission from a publisher to use them, create tutorials that she can use on Pinterest, and create a book trailer video. Now, she's not going to do that all at once. That's just for February. But for this week, she needed to contact the publisher. She needed to create one quilt tutorial and get images for the book trailer video. And so for her daily actions, she's going to email the editor today to get permission, create a brief tutorial, and start getting those images. So you can see here how breaking these down into daily actions makes these very, very simple. Now, socialmediaonlineclasses.com members, you get this spreadsheet. This is a Google Docs spreadsheet. You can use it in Excel as well. You get this spreadsheet as a bonus in your membership. And then the third part of this execution plan is measuring the results, because you need to see results from your social media efforts. Whether you're spending money or time, you're investing in social media, and you need to see what kind of payoff you're getting. So first let's recap this. First, we set SMART goals. Second, we created an action plan. And then third, here we're measuring our social media return on investment. So first of all, you need to identify what you can measure. Now, you can definitely measure sales, but for an author, you often don't have access to your sales figures. You need to get those from your publisher. But what you can measure for this particular campaign are Pinterest repins, traffic to her website that was referred from Pinterest, her Amazon sales rank, new lecture and workshop bookings. You'll see a lot of opportunities that come from your social media marketing that aren't directly your goal, but they happen anyway, which is always a great thing. Those are like the gravy on top. And then additional publicity. You'll get requests for interviews, for book reviews. So you need to identify what items you need to measure. You need to benchmark it. So you need to identify what your starting place is for that particular element. So you need to take a look at, okay, how many Pinterest repins did I have before this campaign? How much traffic am I getting from Pinterest before this campaign started? What was my Amazon sales rank before the campaign, during it, and after? So you need to know where you're starting from so that you can identify what kind of a boost and what kind of results you got from that particular campaign. And then you need to identify how to measure each element. Now, this is where it can get kind of complicated, and I recommend keeping this stupidly simple. And I say that because I am not a numbers person. And so it gets difficult to measure results. And sometimes it's hard to measure social media results because you can't track social media directly from a sale. You know, it's very few people go directly from Pinterest to Amazon and buy directly. And so what you want to do, the easiest thing to do is to track things over time. I'm not sure if I have this here. Yeah, here it is. Let's see, I actually don't have it here, but what you want to take a look at is your Google Analytics and your sales rank. You want to watch your sales rank over time and see how that changes over the date of your promotion, and you will definitely see an uptick. You know, in this particular case, we're showcasing an author in Amazon sales rank, but if you have a product that you're selling or a service, take a look at your sales over that particular month or week that you're doing that promotion and see how they increase. That's going to tell you what kind of a result you got. Even if it shows that those sales came from Google, you know, people will see you on social media but not buy immediately, but then they'll Google you to find your website. So even if Amazon or Google Analytics says they're coming from someplace, they're actually a result of your social media marketing. Now, you can go deeper into this measurement by reading these blog posts. And again, I will link to these below the video. But again, you want to take a look at the major 3 steps when you're executing any kind of social media campaign. You want to set some SMART goals, create your action plan, and then you want to measure the results from your campaign. This is Maria Piegler with socialmediaonlineclasses.com with this brief video on how to go beyond social media and execute your social media campaign.